There are shows with psychics,
And there are shows with doctors.
but there's no show like The Psychic and the Doc.
Your practical paranormal power unleashed.
This show synthesizes the talents of world-class medium Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, psychic explorer,
And street smart spiritualist, behavioral psychologist, Dr. Pat Baccili. All subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Inspiration, insight.
action, and fun as Mark Anthony connects callers with loved ones in spirit.
In tandem with Dr. Pat's fresh, no-nonsense, street smart, intuitive insights. And she is hilarious.
Extraordinary problems
Require extraordinary solutions, which may come from this side
or the other side. This is The Psychic.
and the doc. And it starts now. The theme of today's show is National Pickle Day. And it really is a thing. Today is National Pickle Day. And so the question we have for all of you is, are you in a pickle somewhere in your life? Now, pickles are part of human history because putting vegetables and fruit in vinegar is a way to preserve them. But it's also come to mean a lot of other things. Like if you're pickled, maybe had one too many drinks. In ancient times, Julius Caesar believed that his strength came from pickles. His lover and mother of his son Caesarion, Cleopatra, believed that pickles contributed to her physical beauty. And then it became over another several centuries. If you're in a pickle, that means you're in a bad place. I guess because vinegar is sour. But the thing is, at some point in our life, we're all in a pickle. Things aren't always really good. And the question is, are you in a pickle? And today's show is a call-in show, 1-800-930-2819. I'm Mark Anthony, JD, Psychic Explorer, and I'm here with Dr. Pat Baccili, host of the Dr. Pat Show, founder of the Transformation Network, and my friend, colleague, and esteemed co-host. And we are here to take your calls. So, Dr. Pat,
Yeah.
are you somewhere in a pickle in your life?
So I love this. Now, one of the things you should know is that I think growing up on the East Coast, you have an appreciation for pickles. I mean, it's kind of like we put pickles on everything.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. But you put the pickles in the tuna fish, right?
Yeah.
And Linda is a fanatic. She is loves the pickles. It's just no matter what when she was out here, it's like, I got to put a pickle on it, or where are the pickles? And what's interesting about that is the term, are you in a pickle? I don't know what that means, but let's talk about it. Are you feeling like you're in a pickle? And that is a situation that you feel you're in, a mindset that you feel you're in. What's the other thing that you feel you're in? A place of being, a relationship you feel you're in, a job that you're like your boss is the pickle. It doesn't matter. Family coming up on Thanksgiving. Oh, that's a pickle now. I got an email from somebody that emailed me and said, Dr. Pat, I just want you to know I canceled Thanksgiving. And I emailed her back, one of our listeners, and I emailed her back and said, why? I'm not even going to tell you the answer, but it has to do with the election. And I'm just like, come on now. She's in a pickle. But the thing that you have to know is that when you're talking about being in this or being in that, or, how do I want to say it more? There's a disturbance in the field. It's like in the movie The Matrix. It's like deja vu, the cat, which turns out to be a nemesis all on its own. But one of the things that I love about this is pickles have so many uses, don't they? And by the way, pickle juice is supposed to be a great cleansing material.
Oh, well, it is. It is. Vinegar, and once it's combined with a cucumber, takes on a lot of healing properties. I've heard, people drinking pickle juice as, like you said, it's like a liver cleanse and it cleans out, your kidneys, bladder, liver. But pickles just taste good. Rocky and I, when we are on tour, whenever we're in New York City, we make sure we go to a good deli because they give you the good pickles. Like we were in Houston recently, and there's a really great deli there, and they it's very New York style, and they bring the two different colors, the dark green dill pickles, and then those lighter green pickles, which are real crunchy. Those are my favorite, and it's just great. But the thing is, are you in a pickle? Is there something going on in your life where you feel stuck, where you feel in a sour state? And if you are, please call into the show, 1-800-930-2819. Share your feelings with us. Dr. Pat and I are here to help people. And
you can also be a sweet pickle. Like those little gherkins.
Gherkins. And those
little sweet. Yeah. Just FYI, those are the ones that you put in the tuna fish, the sweet ones.
The
right?
Sweet ones.
You cut those little sweet things up, those little sweet pickles. And by the way, relish. That's a form of chopped up pickles.
Relish is chopped up. I always liked when I was a kid, my mom would make these sandwiches and she'd get the green tomatoes that are pickled and slice them up and put them in the sandwich. They're really good too. But a lot of things can be pickled because it was and is a form of preserving vegetables without refrigeration for a very long time.
Yeah.
So anyway, today, November 14th, is National Pickle Day. And it's funny because we're at the production meeting and we're talking about, well, what are we going to do the show on November 14th? And we look up like what's going on. It's like, seriously? National Pickle Day? It's really a thing. So here we are.
and both Nat and Emily, in preparing this show, if you look at the actual viewing screen, they got like a little pickle right there that they put in between the frames. It's just very cute. And they're putting pickle pictures up.
And a lot of people, there's Christmas ornaments. They're generally made in Germany that are pickles.
I have one.
Yeah, I do too. I don't put up a tree usually because I'm so busy. I know. Well, I put some stuff up, but I used to go wild with the Christmas decorations and all that. But, in the past couple of years, it's been a lot of traveling right up to Christmas. Yeah. But pickles impact us in many, many ways.
Yes. Now, I want to just say what I discovered about pickles, and I want to put you all on alert. This is my dill pickle story. Oh my God, did I say that? So here's what you should know if you are going to buy pickles. So those of us that grew up in other places, we're not used to, you get the pickle out of the barrel. We're not used to the yellow color. Right? You know what I mean? You get the pickle out of the back. You get it. So pickles on everything. You get a sandwich, you get a pickle. But I never remembered seeing the yellow water or whatever that is. It was never yellow. Okay, so I did homework. And I discovered that here, at least in the Pacific Northwest, in the grocery stores I go to, there was only one brand on the shelf that did not have yellow dye number 5.
Wow.
I'm just saying to y'all out there, if you're going to get yourself pickles, make sure that they're without yellow dye number 5. Why? We could do a whole show on that, but ask yourself this question. Do you really want to drink what your kids are using to tie-dye their shirts? No, you don't. And by the way, that is a thing now. It's a multi-generational thing now to tie-dye shirts. But that's what you should know. So this is what happens when you get a perfectly good thing to eat, the pickle, and you toxify it by putting dye in. Isn't that the metaphor for our lives?
I looked it up real quick about yellow dye number 5, and it said researchers found that although food coloring wasn't immediately toxic to white blood cells, it did damage the DNA, causing the cell to mutate over time. After 3 hours of exposure, yellow dye number 5 caused damage to human white blood cells in every concentration tested. So everyone listen to Dr. Pat. When you're buying your pickles, or anything else, you make sure you don't have yellow dye #5 in the ingredients list. I know
Yes.
my big thing is high fructose corn syrup. It's put into everything, and food companies are wise to this. So now in the ingredient list, they'll call it natural sweetener because, it comes from
Yeah.
corn. And look, the problem with sugar is it tastes good. That's why people like it. The problem with sugar is it's a poison. And too much of it and people get addicted to it, it can cause tremendous health problems. We see in a lot of the readings that I do here on the show, and in
Yeah.
person, sugar oftentimes comes up and people say, oh, well, you're just throwing that out. I don't bring anything up unless it is transmitted to me from the spirit. And let's face it, this country consumes, we are the land of plenty. There was a time back in the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl and all that, there were soup lines. People were literally starving and standing in line for a bowl of soup. Well, that is no longer the case. Yes, there are still hungry people in this country, but not like it once was. And the problem is we overindulge in too many of the wrong things. You never hear about people eating too much broccoli, but you do hear them about eating way too much sugary foods.
Yeah. And I think that's part of it. Now, I don't want to comment on other dye, but I'll leave this to you. Generally, if you're going to get something pickled, just read the label. For example, there's no reason to put red dye in pickle beets. There is no reason absolutely on the planet to add dye to a product that is about as red as you can get. I mean, I'm telling you, I am still trying to get a beet stain out of my rug. There is just no way you can do it. This show today is, are you pickled? Are you in a pickle? Do you want us to help you unpickle that? 1-800-930-2819. Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back with you. Hey, everybody, welcome back. You're listening to The Psychic and the Doc. I'm the Doc part. I was going to say dark part. I could be the dark part.
Doc Dark. It's your
Dark.
superhero.
Oh my God, Mark. I have done more shows this week on the Dark Night of the Soul. I can't even begin. I'm not kidding. Every show is about like that. Not anything specific, but like about that. And I want to tell y'all, like my mama used to say to me, this too shall pass. And that was her, if during her short life, she should still be here, my Mama Doris. A million times we must have heard that, right? It's like, okay, you lost your roller skates. Okay, honey, this too shall pass. Okay, Johnny doesn't talk to you anymore. Honey, this too shall pass. So here's what we want to say. Being in a pickle, this too shall pass. Let's go to the phones, Nat. Who do we have first?
First caller, Brian from California. Brian, you're on the show.
Hey, Brian.
Hi, how are you?
Brian, how are
Hello.
you? Are you in the sunny part of California there?
It's a little cloudy right now, foggy.
Yeah, that's why I asked. I went to school down in the LA area, and I will tell you, it is always sunny there. And then I spent some time in San Francisco, and it's more like where I live now. How can we help you tonight, Brian?
Hi, I was just trying to get a general reading.
All right, I'm going to hop you right over to Mark. Mark?
All right, let's see. Well, Brian, I don't do general readings. I do mediumship readings. So is there somebody particular in spirit that you want to communicate with? And if so, do not give me their name, just the relationship.
A friend who passed away.
Okay, hold on. Was this a male friend?
Yes, it was.
All right, stand by. Reason being is, as soon as you said that, I got a guy coming in now. This may or may not be the person that you want to talk to. And what people have to realize, this is not just for you, Brian, but for all the callers. Sometimes the person you want to hear from the most may not be the first one to step forward. But I got a guy coming through, and this is really interesting. He's brushing his teeth, brushing his teeth. Now, spirits don't, brush their teeth, but he's projecting to me the image of brushing teeth, brushing teeth, brushing teeth, and I'm tasting fluoride. I'm feeling Novocaine. What this would indicate is he may have had a lot of issues with his teeth or with his mouth, or he could be referencing you or someone very close to you that may be going through a lot of dental issues or something going on with teeth and mouth right now. Does anything there resonate with you, Brian?
It doesn't right now.
All right. When's the last time you went to the dentist?
I went like a few months ago.
And what
Last
happened?
year, 6 months.
Yeah.
I had got a filling actually. I got a filling in my tooth.
Okay. And back then or coming up soon?
This was like a little while back, not too long ago actually. I got a filling. I actually forgot I did get a filling.
There you go.
Bada bing, bada filling. All
There
right.
it
So
is.
see, that's how your
That's
friends
crazy.
like
Yeah,
it. Isn't it crazy?
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's how he's
It's
letting
crazy.
you know that he's around you and aware of what's happening. And
That's crazy.
the other thing is, I'm getting all the stuff about blood, and I'm hearing transfusion, blood.
I
Now,
did. I got blood draw took from me. It's crazy.
okay, so
Yeah,
he is
blood
definitely around you. Now, he's switching from medical to your car insurance. What's going on with your car insurance? Do you need to get it renewed, or is there an issue? He's talking about car insurance.
Car insurance?
Yeah, car insurance.
There's my wife. My wife was supposed to have something going on with her car insurance, something like that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I get the sense from your friend that he was a very practical dude. Okay. Well, he's talking about your teeth, blood work, car insurance. So there was a real sense of practicality with him. And he said that you too are very practical. And he showed me the number 11, 11, 11. Now, 11's interesting because it could be
11.
Well, hold on. It's real important, Brian, to not interrupt me or talk over me when I'm working with the spirit.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, that's all right. Kindly wait until I say, does that make sense? Because what's happening is when I'm describing something, I'm getting the message from the spirit. And if you interrupt, it can cause me to lose the contact. The reason I was saying 11, 11, 11, it doesn't necessarily mean 3 11s in a row. I just kept getting him transmitting 11. 11. Now, that could mean the 11th month, which we're in, which is November. It could mean the 11th of any month or some other significance to the number 11 that he is transmitting to you. All right, so if I say 11, what immediately resonates with you, Brian? Now you can respond.
The month November.
For what reason?
My daughter's birthday.
And there you go. And she's here in this world?
Yes, she is.
He's talking about her with dietary changes. All right. Does she have to do something to change her diet for health reasons?
She has a surgery coming up next week.
Okay, so I take it she's probably going to have to not eat the day before, or is there something going on which could be related to digestion or stomach? Because I keep getting dietary changes. And certainly when you're getting surgery, you want to eat clean before it. And then afterwards, you're going to have to eat light so that you recover. But I'm getting this whole thing with dietary changes. He's also telling me that between now and February, it's going to be a little bit rough for her in the recovery. But by February, she should be fine. Does anything there make sense to you?
Yes, just a little bit about the surgery.
Okay. And all right, let's see if he's got anything else now. Oh gosh, now I'm hearing that Eagle song. Take it to the limit. one more time. I know I'm singing it way off key, but take it to the limit. All right. So something about the group, the Eagles, or that's the message for you. Take it to the limit one more time. All right. So this seems like something between you and him, kind of like take it to the limit. He's like, push your boundaries. All right. Dr. Pat, this looks like the perfect opening for you. Take it to the limit one more time.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for calling in. And thank you for remembering the dental thing. But you obviously called in with, you have a question. There's something that you have a question about. And some things we just don't talk about on the show because they're really, really private. But it's very clear. Do you miss your friend?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you feeling a little bit of that going on?
Yeah, I do.
It's kind of fresh for you, isn't it?
Yes.
Look fresh in your heart. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
You know, there's a lot of things that people may say to you, but energetically, you're really strong. You have a really strong, very almost optimistic perspective. Your energy field is that, you know, underneath that, there's this kindness. You apologized to Mark like 4 times. And, you know, the thing that I want to say, there are people close to you that may need your help right now. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you know who those people are, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I want you to really look at not only helping others, but take really good care of yourself, especially as we come up on this holiday season.
Yes,
You got
ma'am.
to make sure you take care of yourself. Now, I'm going to ask you one last question. What are you going to do to take care of yourself? Give me one thing that you could think of that you'll do. Work
out, exercise.
That's it. I'm right there with you. Send some of that over to me. I walk by my exercise equipment every day, like 4 times a day. Do you think I go do it? No.
It's great to hang like hangers with damp clothes.
Oh my God. I stopped doing that. I took all the stuff off of my equipment because I was so pitiful. But look, take good care of yourself, and you have to make sure you take care of yourself emotionally, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad we were able to connect for you today. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank
God bless
you.
you, man.
You guys have a great. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Great energy.
Nice guy, you know,
Yeah.
and I know what it's like to lose your best friend, and
I came close, man. I don't even want to think
rough.
about it.
It's rough, yeah.
You know, my heart goes out to him and anybody else. Well, it's a feeling you can't shake, but our prayers go with him and his family. I mean, his family obviously needs him right now. Nat, who do we have next? I think we got Regina.
Yes, our next caller is Regina from California. Regina, you are on.
Yeah, welcome to the Psychic in the Dark, Regina. Hi, Regina.
Thank you so much. Hello.
Hey, thank you.
I'm actually an East Coast pickler, too.
Are you an East Coast? Okay, so you got to answer the pickle question. Which your favorite? Which is your favorite pickle?
Oh, you know what? Gherkin all the way.
That, you know, that could be a Christmas song. Gherkin all the way.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm so grateful for you, though, Dr. Pat, for just bringing up that yellow dye. I did not know that, so I'm not thinking. I got to really watch that. Yeah, there's so much toxins and so many things, and I thought my pickles were safe. I'm like, oh, man.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? And there is a brand here in the Pacific Northwest, but I had to go through every bottle on the shelf. I'm not, so if you saw me, like, imagine me like in my grocery store, just have a moment, right? Where I'm in the grocery store and Linda's here and she loves pickles. So I got to get her the pickles. So I start going through the pickles and I'm like, what the heck is that stuff in the pickle? And I'm in this aisle, right? And I'm looking at the pickle and I take it out of my cart and I put it back. Then I pick the next one and I'm looking at it. And, so this woman is watching me. And she looks at me. This is about 15 minutes with the pickles because I didn't just stop at the pickles. I went off to the peppers. Peppers. Why are we putting yellow dye in peppers?
Because
come on, people. So then I go to the peppers, and this woman's watching me, and I'm hot flashing in the pickle aisle now. And she's just standing there watching me. I didn't even notice her. She looked at me and she says, "So, looks like you're in a pickle."
I guess
I
Peter
really
Piper
am now.
picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Oh my God. But yeah, if you're going to buy stuff like that, please just look at the label because pickles, peppers, there are other things, right? But anything in that aisle, just read.
No,
it's got the dye. Well, that's my little pickle story for today. How can we help you?
Yeah, I didn't realize this is a pickle, but it really kind of is. My mom is 91, and she's back east, and I've been going back and forth because she's been very ill, and we thought we were going to lose her. My last visit, she was in the hospital, and I have that, sense of duty in some way that, maybe I would go back and help her cross over and but I'm here out west, and I'm trying to get my practice together, and so it's like this. I've worked in Western medicine as a family nurse practitioner and have done energy medicine and blended it for many years, and it's more receptive, I would say, here. And I'm more at home here than I am back east, and it's like this time I'm like, oh. And of course I look and there's a, kind of a 3-day job on the vineyard, which she's on the Cape. And so I don't know. And then I've been praying because my dad left in 2010. And I just feel like, Dad, are you there? I don't know.
Oh, wow. Let's do this because we're going to try to help you here in multiple ways. But the first thing I'd love for Mark to do, Regina, is to see if there's someone from the other side that may want to weigh in. And then I'm going to talk to you about this because I had to make a decision last year. And I was exactly in the place that you were in. So, Mark, anybody there for Regina?
Sure. Regina, did you say your dad was on the other side?
Yeah.
Okay, because when you mentioned your dad, I got a male energy coming through. Now, this may be your dad, or it could be another male connected to you and your mom. But I'm smelling a lot of smoke, a lot of cigarette smoke, but I'm also getting all kinds of smoke. So it could mean maybe he did something that was around like fires or something like that. Because I'm smelling like, when you get a lot of trees burning woods. Okay, but just based on that, don't give me more than that. Don't give me his name or other biographical data. How is it that the smoke makes sense with your dad?
He smoked Lucky Strikes, but we also lost everything in a fire in the house, and I was home when it went up and got my parents out.
Hold on. That's what I said. Don't tell me anything more than that. So we got he was a smoker, and you lost everything in a fire. And see, you told me he smoked Lucky Strikes. I'm not yelling at you. Just be careful not to give me information that I didn't ask for. No, you don't need to apologize. It takes when I do my one-on-one phone readings. I go through like a 15-minute explanation before we get started. But anyway, we got your dad here, and he knows. He said you feel like a rubber band that's being stretched too thin. He said, but he goes, my girl's strong enough to take it, and strong enough to take it. He knows that you going back and forth across the country to see your mom is really, really stretching you very thin. He said, but in your heart, you have to do this because that's how we are. That's how we are. Meaning you, him, your mom, your family. Do you have a brother? He's talking about a brother, unless he has a brother, but he's talking about a brother.
Yeah, I have two.
You have two brothers. Is one of your brothers there a lot with your mom or in close proximity to her?
Yes.
Okay, he says rely on his advice. Rely on his advice, listen to him, but also offer him aid and comfort. Aid and comfort.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like,
Mm-hmm.
based on what you told me and based on these messages, you're in the very unenviable position, and I've been there, where you have a parent who's
Mm-hmm.
declining, and we know what the outcome's going to be, and but your family is really pulling together, and your dad is so proud of you for he knows how difficult it is. Said, but you need to be there. You need to be there. Okay. Did somebody have a
Mm-hmm.
little dog, like a little terrier, like a little Scotty terrier, or one of those Toto terriers? I don't know what you call them. Well, get like a little terrier type dog, the spirit of a terrier coming through.
Huh. Not that I'm aware of.
Somebody did,
Huh.
because
We
there's
had
a little.
I
You had a German Shepherd? Yeah, this is definitely not a German Shepherd. This is a little
yeah,
tiny
that's what I
dog.
was just gonna. Yeah. Huh.
Just out of curiosity, could there be anyone with
Maybe
a
I
name like
can.
Terry or Terrence? And then I'm also getting a Rose, Rosa, 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 something like that.
On the other side, you mean?
It could be on planet Earth or in spirit. Terry or Rosa.
Because Rosalie is my mom's best friend.
And she planet Earth or in spirit.
She's planet Earth, and that she's the joke she told me and my mom when my dad was getting ready to cross, and I was holding one hand and she was holding the other, and Rosie, we call her Rosie, just told Mom a joke on the phone, and she's like, should I tell him? And so she did, and we were hysterically laughing, and my dad, that was his last breath. And everyone said at the wake, it looks like your dad's laughing. I said, yeah, he was, right when he left.
See, that's why he's bringing her
That's a
up.
weird thing. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
and I know Dr. Pat's going to follow up on this. When your dad was transitioning, Rosa told a joke. What's that old saying? Laughter is the
Yeah.
best medicine. And see, that is what you need to do right now with your mom. That's what he wants you to know is, look, we all know the inevitable here, but let's make
Yeah.
sure that when she leaves, there's joy, there's laughter, there's what your family is. You have a beautiful family, very tight-knit family, a family that cares and looks out for each other. And let me tell you, your dad's very proud. He says, I did that. I did that. So I'll leave that with you, Dr. Pat.
Yes. So I wanted just to ask you a question. I've been really thinking about a couple of things here as Mark was speaking. So tell me in your own words, what stops you from going back east? Because you said, if I go back east, I've got some work things and work commitments, so forth, that you have now. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's like I just moved to the area. I left up north because
Yes.
of it. Just I had lost everything again in a fire. Like a lot of things went on that
Wow.
weren't good, and I did my astrocartography map and ended up here. And I feel like it's a really good fit. But I just am starting my practice here in integrative medicine, so it's that plus I just feel like if I go back and I take a job for locum tenens for, a few months, and what if she passes in a week? You know what I mean? Like, it's like all these things are going through my head.
I do. So let's break this
and
down.
I would still have to pay my rent here. Yeah.
Let's break this down.
Thank you.
Because sometimes there's a middle ground. There's a middle, what do I want to say? There's a solution in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. There's a solution for you. But there's the question mark that I had to ask myself last year. And, I didn't know how bad my best friend of a lot of decades was. But the minute I got wind on it, I was given a keynote talk in Chicago. And I got wind of it right before that. And I made a decision, a temporary decision, because I didn't have enough information. And I packed a bag, not a big bag, because I had to go to Chicago. But when I was done with that talk, I got very clear that I was to tell the travel people to put me on a plane to New Jersey. And I went there just in time to help my friend. Because the practitioner that I worked with, Mary Jane Mack, and many others said that she was not really going to make it the next day. And so that, for me, was to help her. Your situation is different, so I want to be clear. But that for me, and I spent pretty much close to a year there, right? Did my business fail? I don't know. But I have a great team here. Jessica held up the boat. And I stayed there not quite a year, but I stayed there long enough, and then I brought her back to Seattle with me. And I'm so glad I did that. The question for you is, how are you, because it sounds like your mom is really not going to be of her earth skin for much longer. Is that correct? Is that your sense of it?
Yeah, I just got back a week ago, and she was in the hospital for 5 days, and then got her home, and I really didn't think she was going to make it. And now she, I'm not going to say a second life, because, like, talking to her, she doesn't have the energy she had. I mean, she's a very strong, she's from Ireland, and very,
Linda's mom, too,
the will of an iron. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but that's why I just thought, how close are we there, Dad? Yeah.
Well, let's just do this. You can stay in very close touch with her, and I'm assuming there are other people around her that are looking out for her, correct?
Yeah, my sister is not that far. My brother's not that far.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have that way of, I'm just different with her. Like, just I guess the medical, but also
Exactly.
like I can get quiet and be, very present. Yeah.
So this is for you to really lean into with your heart and your mind, because this isn't a heart-only decision, right? You're there, you got employment, you say you got to pay the rent, so forth and so on.
Yeah.
And at the same time, your family may need you. And sometimes there's the middle ground. For example, I'm going to throw it out there. I don't know your family situation, but sometimes when you're in a situation like this, you call on the family and say, look, I had to do this with my friend. And you call on the family and say, look, I will forego what's happening here, but you've got to help me pay some of my bills for me to come back. See, that's the middle of the road solution. If it works, if it in fact works for you, I don't know. But it's another thing for you to think about. It's to say, you know what? I can stay here in New Jersey, but I need some help over here, 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 and here. And you have the options of that. Brothers and sisters, they don't always want to carry the whole load. And sometimes if they can help pay the rent to offload some of the weight that they're carrying, they will. So you see how this is kind of a middle thing to think about?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm not telling you to move there.
I never really thought of that. No.
Yeah, right. But I just went through this myself. And I wouldn't have been able to do what I did with my best friend if I didn't get some other help financially, right? Because I got everything on Jessica's shoulders. She's running the business, but I had to do something because I knew that this would be temporary. I knew my best friend would come back, but I'm telling you, I picked her up and dragged her back here, and I can't wait to pick her up and drag her back here again. But I'm just saying, there is this middle of the ground where sometimes we don't know how to ask for help. So explore that first before you make your decision.
Okay.
I say,
really,
look,
I just appreciate
people, chip in. Put some money in the hat here, folks. It's not just my pickle.
Yeah, you know what, too?
It's a bowl of pickles.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I've been going back and forth, like, for the last probably 9.5 months, like every,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, like
ask
a lot.
them for help. Please ask them for
Yeah.
help, because you going back, what does that do? Takes some of the load off. It splits the load up, right? See if they can help
Yeah.
you, and then you
Yeah.
can decide for yourself. But at least ask.
Right. Right.
At least ask.
Right.
Is there
It
some
doesn't
way
hurt.
for y'all to
Yeah.
cover my
Right.
rent? I can hold off. I'm in a new place. Whether you get a job now, you get a job in a month or two, it doesn't really much matter if somebody can cover your costs, right?
Right.
Am I
Right.
right?
Yeah, no, 100%. And
All
I
right.
never really even thought about that. Yeah.
Well,
So thank you.
you know, look, those of us here, Mark and I, have been through things like this, and we know this is not, I'm telling you, it's not an easy decision. So please let us know what you think. We're here for you. Thank you so much for calling in, okay?
Yeah, thank you both. I really appreciate it.
Sure, you
Thank
got
you.
it. Thank
God
you.
bless.
Yep.
So, Dr. Pat, I think it's Kamisha
Kamisha,
from New Jersey.
New
Let's
Jersey.
go to the phone lines.
All right, yeah, Kamisha from New Jersey, you are online.
Hey, Kamisha, how are you?
Hi,
Hi.
I'm good, Dr. Pat. Hi,
Where
how
are
are
you at
you?
in Jersey?
I'm in Turnersville, actually, so South Jersey.
You're like in the garden part of the garden state of Jersey.
Right, closer
That's the
to
part where
Philly.
people said, this is the garden state. It's because of all those tomatoes and everything down there that grow.
Oh, Jersey tomatoes.
Exactly.
There's nothing
There's
like
nothing
them.
like Jersey
Nothing like-
tomatoes. And I got to tell you,
they're the
the
best.
corn, I'm telling you, the corn is not that bad either.
Yeah.
How can we help you today?
Oh, yeah, the corn is the best.
Oh, the corn is
Well,
the best. You
first
don't
off,
even have to cook it.
Right. First of all, I just wanted to say, I don't know if you remember me, but I used to work for you 12 years ago.
I work for you and I recognize your voice, but you understand I don't call people out like that until you say so. So I still have your art
no
in my
worries.
house. Tamisha, like I got your
Oh, you
art.
do?
Like still, oh my God, girlfriend. It is,
That's awesome.
you're awesome. How the heck did you get to Jersey? I'm sorry, Mark. We're just digressing.
I love it. This
I
is
know
great.
you want to have a reading with Mark. Kamisha, you and I, we can catch up later.
I would love one, too.
I know, but you
Yeah,
went
no,
from
it's so
here
good
to
to
like
see you, and-
Jersey.
Yeah, just a few years ago, my son is on the spectrum, and there's a lot of really great resources out here. Plus, we have family, so we just decided, let's go over here. But yeah, so I just thought I'd call in. The thing I would love to, I guess, talk a little bit about is both my parents are gone, and I have a 12-year-old boy again on the spectrum who's been kind of having some trouble in school. And now that I'm in Jersey, I still do my art thing and get paid for it, but I'm also looking for another job. So I'm applying, and it's starting to get
All right, Kamisha, stop.
Let me turn you over. Let me turn you over to
Stop.
Mark. Let me turn you over to Mark. But before you do, let me just say something to you. You're going to get kicked back to me, and I'm going to give you a referral for your son. Okay? Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay.
First off, I didn't mean to interrupt and say stop, but see, you just gave me basically your entire life story. And that's the type of thing I tell people not to do because the spirits may have talked about that. So you say that your son was on the spectrum, and many times spirits will come through and they'll talk about, is there somebody close to you who may be autistic? Do you see what I'm saying? So now I know all this stuff. So I'm hoping, what is it, who is it in particular that you want to talk to? Is it either one of your parents? And please don't give me a huge litany about what you want to hear from them. Just, do you have a particular focus or question?
I do. My mom, and I just want to know, I guess, what she thinks about, I guess, what I'm doing right now and my parenting.
That's it. That's it. Stop.
That's good.
Okay. Deep breath, Kamisha. Deep breath, relax. Okay, let's see. This is very interesting because the female energy is coming through. Now, go with me on this. This is going to sound really bizarre, but she's showing me dolphins, like the Atlantic bottlenose dolphin, the dolphins.
Yeah.
And what does, hold on, don't say anything till I ask. If I say dolphin, what immediately resonates with you? Now you can respond.
What
do they mean to you?
Water. Smiles, happiness,
water,
joy.
smile, also a sense of freedom, a sense of freedom. And she's also telling me that you have felt very constricted and restrained. And she said, you're not getting outside enough. You're not getting outside enough. It's like you're breathing too much indoor air. Now, that could be literal or that could be metaphorical. You're breathing too much indoor air. And she's also telling me that I know that you indicated your son's having difficulty in school, but this appears to be, according to her, a temporary setback, and that something's going on now, which is going to put him in a more understanding environment. A more understanding environment. Is the school doing something where they're going to move him into a special class or program?
So we're working on it. He's already in one, but we're working on it.
Okay, great. So it's going to work out. It's going to work out. That's what she wants you to know. And she just gave me the name or the word Rex, R-E-X. Now, normally I think of Rex, a lot of people name their dog Rex. If I say R-E-X, Rex, what immediately comes to mind for you?
I don't know. Rex. I'm not sure. I think I might have to think about that for a little bit.
Now,
yeah.
Go ahead. Well, we can go from REX.
No, I would. Yeah, REX. I'm not sure.
Now, Kamisha, a real important thing when you're dealing with a medium is to not constantly interrupt them, because it causes me to lose contact with the other side. And the other possibility with Rex could be WRECKX. Like Rex, as in a lot of Rex. Since we're running short on time, I'm going to let you now talk to Dr. Pat.
Yeah. Does your son like dinosaurs?
A little bit, yeah. But I like the WRECK option. Yes, I can see that being part of my life right now.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate that. That's actually really helpful. That was a helpful read for sure, about the outside and being too much indoors, because I was actually thinking about that yesterday, that I'm indoors way too much, and my son is as well. So that was really actually insightful, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's really great. And the weather is not all that bad right now, especially, I know it's cold in New Jersey. Couple things that I want to say. Kamisha, is your son able to go to public school, or do you have him in a separate type school? Because you live in a place that has one of the best schools, the Lewis schools, that are great for, look, there's a new term for some of us, right, Kamisha? You know me. We're now called neurodivergent. We were called autistic, spectrum, ADD. Now we got like this really cool term that, neurodivergent. As a matter of fact, kids are getting like cool T-shirts for it, right? Because it's the first thing that's come up where it sounds like, oh, this is a superpower, right?
Yeah.
Is your son in a public school?
He is. He's in a public school. But like I said, he's in special classes.
Yeah. Check out the Lewis School in Princeton. Just look them up. And even if that's not something you can do, call them to see, just talk to them. Because they're in Princeton. I don't think that's too far from you. How far are you from Princeton?
About like 35 minutes. Not horrible.
Yeah. We're going to have to get together when I go there, because I play table tennis in Princeton.
Yes.
The other thing I want to say, and we don't have enough time, but there are certain things that kids relate to, kids that are on the spectrum. And I know this firsthand. One of them is, it's going to be the weirdest thing I say to you, but one of them is ping pong. And you can call me later. You have my cell phone. And I'll explain to you what that does with wiring. Okay? And
yeah,
they are now using ping pong for dementia. They have a special table for people with dementia. So it rewires things. And I just want to drop that out. But you have my cell phone, Kamisha, right?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I appreciate
you got
this.
that number? So you text me and we'll talk. I just want to say this about Kamisha. Kamisha, Mark, as a sidebar, she joined the network before we were the network and did an amazing job here. And her art, it's so incredible. If you were to come into my home, I have 2 of her pieces and they're both in the hallway. And so you can't miss them. And every time I walk by them, I think about you. And that's why I want to call you. I'll be coming back to New Jersey probably this year. So we really need to connect. And then we could talk more. But you have an amazing kid. You have an amazing talent. Yes. And I know sometimes when you have a talent, how to make it work financially can be tough. And I get the sense that that may be something you're going through, right?
I appreciate you. Thank you. And yes, I have great memories working with you and for you.
Yeah, boy. I wish some of that artistic stuff would have rubbed off on me there, but we can talk about that later. Kamisha, thank you so much. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. Sending love. Of course.
Thank you, Kamisha. No, thank you. And we look forward to you calling back.
Yeah. What a great show.
Thank you, Anthony. You guys, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kamisha. I am so reminded, this is like full circle. I just want to mention this. How do you know that you're shifting a frequency in your life? Like bringing up Linda last year, I had a moment there. But you know how you're shifted? When a former staff member calls in and you're on a network with another former staff member that's hosting a show with you. I don't know, Kamisha, do you remember Andrea Undy? She's hosting a show. So this is how you come full circle. If you're worrying about how to reflect in your life, those people that called in today, it's really hard to lose people. It really is. And yet, I hope that everybody can find a space of optimism, to find just that little bit of room of optimism, that thing that you could look at for yourself. Mark, any final messages for people?
Yes, I have a couple light circles coming up, online events, limited to 6 people, Saturday, December 7th and Sunday, December 8th. And also, if you get your tickets for the Sedona Ascension Retreat before December 1st, you get a 10% early bird discount. You can find out about all of that by visiting the calendar of events on my website, afterlifefrequency.com. And everyone, next week, we are going to be back. The Psychic and the Doc will be back on the clock.
Talking about futuristic pilgrims. Is that next week? I get them all confused.
It is, yeah. Futuristic pilgrims.
Are you the pilgrim of the future? We're going to have so much fun with that. I can't wait to see what Nat and Emily come up with the screen. Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. We'll see you next time.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on transformationtalkradio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on transformationtalkradio.com. That's transformationtalkradio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.